Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon. Here is the national news from Babajide Imo Television. First, the headlines. Election petitions, tribunals decide. Tinubu 25 governors' cases, September. Falana demands Bauer's release, says remand order expired. Gani Adams urges FG states to develop tourism. Boy with missing intestine gets Sanwo-Olu's relief. And on sport, Jordan Auburn Boniface invited for Super Eagles South to McClash. I am Morire Rabila Lawa. The news shortly. There is anxiety as President Bola Tinubu and the 25 state governors await the verdict of the tribunals handling the presidential, governorship, National Assembly, and State Assembly election petitions. The panels are expected to deliver their judgments this month. Out of the 28 states where the governorship elections were held, the result of the polls announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission are being contested in no fewer than 25 states. Most of the tribunals, which were sitting in Lagos, Sokoto, Delta, Kano, and 21 other states as well as Abuja, had reserved their judgment after the parties concluded their hearings and adopted their written addresses in line with the practice direction for the election petitions issued by the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dogban-Menson. However, political parties and their candidates who are apprehensive about the outcome of their petitions resorted to prayers, and others issued cautionary words and admonitions to the justices to do what is right. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, had in November 2022 sworn in 307 justices to handle the 2023 election petitions, while an additional 39 justices were inaugurated on May 25, 2023, totaling 346, and they were expected to deliver judgment before September 16. By the law, the 346 justices sitting on the panels were mandated to hand down their judgment 180 days after the filing of the petitions by the aggrieved candidates. Section 285, bracket 6 of the 1999 Constitution provides that an election tribunal shall deliver judgment in writing within 180 days from the date of filing of the petition. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal had reserved judgment after the petitioners, the People's Democratic Party and its standard bearer, Atiku Abubakar, and the Peter Obi and Labour Party closed their cases in June after calling 40 out of the 150 witnesses earlier listed in the petitions, challenging the victory of the All Progressive Congress APC and the president. While Tinubu's lawyer prayed for a successful outcome, Atiku's legal team admonished the tribunal to shun executive intimidation and dispense judgment on the matter. A member of the president's legal team, Yusuf Ali San, said he was hopeful of victory. He said, "We pray for success at the end of the day. Cases are conducted in the court and not in the media, either social or mass media. The court listens to facts and applies the law." The director of publicity for the APC, Bala Ibrahim, denied that the ruling party was under any form of pressure and expressed confidence that justice will be served. He said, with pressure, the ruling party has already delivered, unlike the Labour Party, which is still groaning in Labour. The pressure is on them. Obviously, anyone that is in Labour is likely to be under pressure. But a member of Atiku's legal team, Mike Ozekume San, urged the tribunal to dispense justice on the matter. He said Nigerians and the international community were watching them. Ozekume said, "Not for judgment dates yet. I expect justice to be done. I expect the tribunal to shun blaring sirens of power or executive intimidation to do justice. I expect the tribunal to know that Nigerians, the international community, and indeed the world are watching." Weathering in, the PDP expressed confidence in the ability of the tribunal justice to dispense justice. On the part's expectations from the tribunal, the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ibrahim Abdullahi, simply said, "Success," without making further comment. But a loyalist of Atiku and Deputy National Youth Leader of the PDP, Timothy Osadolo, argued that given the weight of evidence before the tribunal, the party and the former vice president had every reason to hope that justice would prevail. Similarly, the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party, Kehinde Edun, submitted that the party was hopeful about the outcome of the judgment. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana-San on Sunday demanded for the immediate release of the detained chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa. Falana, in a statement issued in Lagos, said the remand order for Bawa had expired, hence the Department of State Services had no legal ground to continue to detain him. In view of the fact that Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa has not been charged with any criminal offense whatsoever, the State Security Services ought to have released him from custody. I am not unaware of a claim that Mr. Bawa is being detained on the basis of a remand order issued by a magistrate court in the Federal Capital Territory. It ought to be pointed out that the remand order has become spent, invalid, and illegal, as no magistrate has the power under Section 493 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 or Section 35 of the Constitution of Nigeria to authorize the detention of a criminal suspect for 67 days without trial. Indeed, under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, the cumulative lifespan of a remand order is 56 days. Therefore, having exceeded the detention period permitted by the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the Constitution of Nigeria, the State Security Service should be directed to release Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa from illegal custody without any further delay. The federal government should ensure that the rights of Mrs. Emefiele and Bawa are respected by the State Security Service and Office of the Director of Public Prosecution in the Federal Ministry of Justice, even though the duo had a penchant for disobeying the orders of the court when they were in office. The plight of both suspects should be a lesson for all public officers in Nigeria who will always behave as if there will be no tomorrow. However, the government which rules by law is under a legal obligation not to break the fundamental rights of citizens, except in the manner prescribed by the Constitution of Nigeria. Information report that Bawa, who is currently being held in the custody of the DSS in Abuja, is being probed for alleged financial impropriety under his watch. He has been in the custody of the Department of State Services for exactly 67 days since June 14, 2023. The Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Ìbà Gani Adams, said on Saturday that Nigeria had immense potential to build a world-class tourism destination, even as he urged the federal government and state government to learn from the development of Egypt's tourism industry. Adams, who is on a 10-day visit to Northern African country for the launch of the Egyptian chapter of the Oodua Progressive Union and inauguration of the Yoruba community, says his visit to Egypt was an eye-opener to the various economic, social, political, and global opportunities for Africa and Nigeria in particular. Gani Adams, who also visited the Nigerian ambassador in Egypt, said that pyramids and museums in Egypt had remained enduring legacies of the country. I didn't know that Egypt is very rich in tourism. It is like Europe, and the government had succeeded in building tourism destinations that would endure for ages. This is what Nigerian governments and federal governments, both state and federal, should encourage. I'm appealing to the Nigerian government to dig deep into the tourism sector and bring out all the beautiful artifacts and nature's endowment that are the heritage of Nigeria. Egypt is a Muslim country with a population of 107 million people. The traffic of tourists coming to Egypt for holidays is huge and encouraging, he said. The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has taken over the medical care of Adebola Abiodun, a 13-year-old boy whose small part of his intestines was allegedly missing in the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Ikeja. The governor made the promise on Sunday when he paid an unscheduled visit to Abiola and his mother, Mrs. Deborah Akinbright, at the pediatric ward, Lasset. Sanwo-Olu pledged to take over his medical care by pulling all medical expertise from Lasset and other resources to save the boy's life. Adebola's mother, Deborah, had in a Save Our Soul message via social media reached out to Governor Sanwo-Olu to appeal to him as a matter of urgency to probe the alleged mysterious disappearance of a 13-year-old son, Adebola's small intestine. She claimed the incident occurred while her son was receiving treatment at Lasset. But the management of Lasset, in response to the allegations, said that they did not fully or willfully remove any organ or structure from Adebola's body while performing a corrective surgery which had been previously operated on at a private hospital in Lagos. In response to the need to save the life of the boy, who has been undergoing treatment at LASUT for over a month, Governor Sanwo-Olu, during his visit to the hospital on Sunday, promised to do everything humanly possible to save Adebola Abiodun's life. He said what is paramount is the life of the 13-year-old boy, and therefore he will take up the case. The whole country is looking at you and is looking at us, and it's our responsibility, God helping us, to make sure that you will get well so that you don't give up. And the governor said the boy, while exchanging knuckles greetings with him. Still in Lagos, a 43-year-old man, Aziz Isa, has been arrested for attempting to rob a New Generation bank opposite the Maplewood estate in the Okoba area of Lagos State. Information gathered that the suspect carried out the act in the early hours on Sunday. According to a police source, Isa was caught with a sledgehammer which he used to hit the security door of the bank while trying to gain entry. The source, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said the security guards attached to the bank heard the sound of something hitting an object early in the morning. They traced the sound and found a man using a sledgehammer to hit the security door. He kept hitting the door repeatedly without minding that the sound could attract the attention of the people around there. The police source said the security guards were at first scared, but because they didn't know who else was with him during the operation. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Udahi, confirmed the incident. We got a distress call around 4:20 a.m. and our patrol teams responded swiftly. The man was arrested while still breaking the door. He is in police custody and is currently being interrogated, he concluded. And to the last story on sports. Ahead of their final game of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers on Sunday, September 10, against Sao Tome and Principe, the Super Eagles head coach Josep Peseiro has handed first international call-up to Gent duo of Gift Orban and Jordan Torunarigha, as well as Bundesliga new star Victor Boniface. Nigeria faced the Falcons and True Pirates in the matchday 6 of the AFCON qualifiers at the Moshood Abiola International Stadium in Abuja on Sunday. Orban has enjoyed a bright start to the new season, scoring 6 goals in 9 appearances for his Belgian club, Gent, while his club teammate Torunarigha, who plays as a centre-back, has been in fine form as well and has scored a goal and registered another assist in 10 games. Boniface also had an impressive season with his new club, Bayer Leverkusen, from his summer move from Royal Union St. Gallows. The striker has scored 5 goals in 4 games and provided 2 assists, while the trio had been under their first call-up for Nigeria. Peseiro, in a list released by the media team of Nigeria Football Federation on Sunday, once again surprisingly did not invite Chuba Akpom for the AFCON qualifier. The Portuguese statisticians also recalls Portugal-based left-back Bruno Onyemaechi and defensive midfielder Rachel Onyedike. Despite the inconsequential of the game, there was only one spot for home-base player in the 63-year-old man's list. Olonleke Ojo, goalkeeper of the Nigeria Professional Football League champions FC Eyimba, was the only home base invited for the encounter. Top of the list of invited players is Victor Osimhen, with 31 goals in all competition for Napoli last season, helped the Italian giants claim their first Italian Serie A title in 33 years, while also making it far to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Defender William Truss Ekong, midfielder Alex Iwobi, and Samuel Chikwueze are among others called up for the game. Defenders Olaino, Tyrone Eboué, Calvin Bassey, Semi Ajayi, and Jamilu Collins also got a nod from the tactician, while midfielders Wilfred Indidi and Frank Onyeka and forward Taiwo Awoniyi and Kelechi Iheanacho were also named in the 23-man roster. The Eagles, who are top of their qualification with 12 points, won the last encounter between the two sides 10-0 at the Andrew Stadium in Morocco on June 13, 2022. With a sports story, we've come to the end of today's national news from BGI TV. Before we go, some headlines. Election petitions. Tribunals decide. Tinubu, 25 governor cases, September 16. Falana demands Bawa's release. Says remand order expired. Gani Adams urges FG states to develop tourism. Boy with missing intestines gets Sanwo-Olu's relief. And on sports, Jordan Auburn, Boniface invited for Eagles, South Tome clash. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babajide Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.